back. Now, it's what we've all suspected for a very long time now. Assassinations are big business in South Africa. Some recent high-profile cases include rapper, aka, and prominent insolvency lawyer Cloete Murray. The global initiative against transnational organized crime has compiled a database of killings since the year 2000. It's contained in its report, The Business of Killing Assassinations in South Africa. Please do yourself a favor and get yourself a copy and go through the data and the information inside. But let's discuss this with the Global Initiative's Rumbi Matamba, who joins me this morning. And Rumbi, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you. Let's just start with what you've found in terms of, the number of cases recorded. I use the word recorded because due to limited sources, some are unrecorded. But what have you found in terms of the data and the number of assassinations in the country?
Thanks for having me, Dumelo. So what we have found in our database between the year 2021 and 2022 is that there has been an increase in targeted killings. So we have recorded 141 cases during the period of 2022 alone, which is undoubtedly an undercount. But just from those figures, we have recorded an increase between 2021 and 2022 in the category of political killings, where we see a 33% increase between 2021 and 2022, as well as an increase in taxi-related killings, where we have a 19% increase between 2021 and 2022.
Rumbi, with that being said, let's talk about how then crime or violence, in this instance talking killings, assassinations in South Africa, have become a monetized commodity which can be bought and sold. What have you found in terms of how big of a business this is in the country?
So what we have found from our research is that there is a market for violence for different reasons, for political seats, for contestation over lucrative taxi routes. So the fact that there is a market for this violence and there is a pool of hitmen that is available to recruit to conduct these killings makes it a business. So you have a demand and a supply.
So who are these killers? Who are these hitmen? Because I found interesting that according to your report, there seems to be links even with the taxi industry. And quite recently, we had even reported right here on ENC, there seemed to have been a peace agreement signed by taxi associations out in KwaZulu-Natal. Even the police minister, Bheki Cele, is saying it's a good start, but the crime and the violence within the taxi industry, or at least the association, still equally concerning.
Absolutely. So what our research finds is that there are pools of reservoirs of hitmen available in KZN and in the Eastern Cape as well. So this is within the taxi industry. So hitmen available for hire within the taxi industry. But within gangs as well, so under organized crime, there are hitmen that are available as well. And then our research also shows that in some cases, the hitmen are recruited, unfortunately, from the police themselves.
So this just speaks into the impact that this particular crime has on the state, it has on our law enforcement, it has on our democracy, as well as, I suppose, even, obviously individuals, families, loved ones, etc. There's a huge impact here that we're finding, right, Rumbi?
Absolutely, Dumelo, absolutely. Just the harm is immeasurable, the harm on societies, also just the hollowing out of key institutions where members of the criminal justice society are targeted. So, for example, here looking at the recent murders of Cloete Murray and his son Thomas, and then also the targeting of civil society members, whistleblowers such as Babita last year.
So with that being said, anything that you have found in terms of what can be done? Because we're talking about a very gloomy situation here where there seems to be little glimmer for hope. But for every South African watching this conversation saying, we can't live like this. What has your research found in terms of some of the recommendations, in terms of what can be done to stop this crime?
Thanks, Dumelo. So I think one of the key findings that we make and the key recommendations that we make is that we need to address specific reservoirs of violence. We need to target where these hitmen are recruited from. And then another thing is we need to support investigations. Police need to develop the intelligence to conduct these investigations. And we also need to target these police that provide with firearms in some instances. And we need a strategic response as well as an all-society approach. Targeted killings affect everyone in society. So we need the right political will as well to address and curb this violence, and it can be curbed.
Yeah, so we're talking about the criminal justice system. We're talking law enforcement, coming to party, the state being capable to deal with crime. What about whistleblowers and community members? We have read many reports of whistleblowers who have been killed. You mentioned Babita Deokaran, but also those who have fled the country, living in fear in South Africa. Those who are too scared to even get involved. What's then the participation, the agency here, and the involvement or contribution from community members and whistleblowers?
So I think the first thing to note is that because whistleblowers themselves are targeted, this instills fear within whistleblowers and the society at large. And so that makes people reluctant to come forward. So we need better protection for whistleblowers.
Well, thank you so much, Rumbi. I appreciate this conversation. Hopefully opening up our eyes to the reality faced in this country as far as crime is concerned, particularly assassinations and killings. And your report doing a great job in exposing that. Analyst at the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organised Crime, Rumbi Matamba, thank you so much for your time. But